Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Fireside Thoughts.
Hey everybody, and welcome to the first day 1 of Fireside Thoughts. My name is Josh Black, and I am glad to welcome you here. Over the next 25 days, leading right up until Christmas, we are doing these Advent devotionals together. And so every day you're going to hear from someone about something in terms of Advent. We're going to read a passage of Scripture together, we're going to talk about a bit about it, and then at the end we may have a thought for you to think about over the next 24 hours. So we're going to start off our first Fireside Thought by reading Isaiah chapter 9, verses 6 and 7 together. So here's what it says. For a child is born to us, a son is given to us. The government will rest on his shoulders, and he will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. His government and its peace will never end. He will rule with fairness and justice from the throne of his ancestor David for all eternity. The passionate commitment of the Lord of heaven's armies will make this happen. So, what would happen if you walked into school tomorrow morning and your gym teacher came up to you and said, hey, by the end of today, you're going to have $20 in your hand. You can count on it. Let's be honest, you would probably laugh uncomfortably for a minute, and then you'd think about all the times that teacher had gotten hit in the head with a dodgeball, and then it would make a little more sense why he didn't make any sense at all. But what if then, as you were walking through the halls of your school, maybe an hour or two later, one of your friends came up to you and put a crisp $20 bill right in your hand and said, hey, I just want you to have this. What would you think of the gym teacher at that point? You would probably be shocked, amazed, and then you'd realize you're $20 richer. In short, you would look at that gym teacher with this look of wonder. And here's the cool thing. God did something like this, but in this case, it was about 1,000,000 times more wonderful than what your gym teacher might have done. So Isaiah chapter 9 was written by a guy named, you guessed it, Isaiah, and he was one of the most important prophets in the Bible. Isaiah's job was to share the words of God to the people that God was asking him to share them to. And the problem in this particular circumstance was that the Israelites, who God was trying to speak to, had completely turned their backs to what God was trying to tell them. God had given them all this advanced warning. He had tried to tell them, like, here's what's going to happen. But ultimately, God sends Isaiah to talk to the Israelites about the judgment that is before them. But here's the most profound thing about what we're hearing in the words of Isaiah. Even though God was telling them through the prophet that they were going to receive this judgment, there was still hope coming. In verses 6 and 7, God is telling his people of this hopeful future where he is going to once and for all relieve the penalty of their sins. And then you fast forward a few hundred years and you see this coming to the surface. You see this story coming together through the story of Christmas. The baby that God is forming within Mary's womb is the same baby that God is talking about in these verses in Isaiah chapter 9. You want to talk about something that makes you respond in wonder? Long before God sent Jesus to the earth, he knew the plan. It was always part of his plan. God always knew that Jesus was the perfect answer for the relationship between God and his people. And that is great news for you and I. But to see this plan come to fruition, Jesus needed to come to earth to be with us. And that is what Christmas is all about. So what I want you to do today, your moment to reflect, is on Isaiah chapter 9, verses 6 and 7. Think about that prophecy from Isaiah to the Israelites and what it means for us today. How does that affect the way that you're going to live every single day? And then to finish off, thank God for his creative and relentless and unwavering love for every single person, including you. Thanks again for being a part of Fireside Thoughts. That was day 1. We'll be back tomorrow with day 2.